Minister Quinn, honored guests, and Queen's colleagues, welcome to the Faculty of Education located at Duncan MacArthur Hall on Queen's University West Campus. To begin, let us acknowledge that Queen's is situated on traditional Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee territory. To acknowledge this traditional territory is to recognize its longer history, one predating the establishment of the earliest European colonies. It is also to acknowledge this territory's significance for the Indigenous peoples who lived and continue to live upon it, and whose practices and spiritualities were tied to the land and continue to develop in relationship to the territory and its other inhabitants today. It's a pleasure to be here today with everyone for today's exciting announcement, which represents a meaningful step towards growing the number of qualified teachers in Ontario's schools. At Queen's, we ensure our teachers are highly trained and can start their career in a timely manner. Part of that is our investment in our physical space here at Duncan MacArthur Hall to ensure we continue to have contemporary, inclusive learning spaces. Improving our physical space perfectly complements and facilitates the kind of program growth today's announcement will help to facilitate. We are especially proud of our flexible pathways in technological education, French as a second language, and Indigenous education, areas where there are increased demands across the province and areas that will see more expansion. Together, Queen's and the Government of Ontario are creating capacity that will allow Queen's to expand access to our programs, which in turn ensures more Ontario students benefit from passionate, well-prepared educators. I will close by saying thank you again to the Minister for coming to Queen's to make an important announcement about teacher education. And I'd now like to invite our University Rector, Nikki Boychuk-Hale, to speak.
Minister Quinn, distinguished guests, and Queen's colleagues, it is a pleasure to be here today to recognize this important investment in Ontario's teacher education programs, which will soon ripple outward into classrooms across the province. I am a proud two-time graduate of Queen's, most recently from the Indigenous Teacher Education Program. I'm now completing a Master of Education where I teach in the BEd program and conduct research focused on curriculum implementation. Outside of campus, to keep me on my toes, I substitute teach in the Limestone District School Board. And because of all of this, I have the privilege of many vantage points to the busy, complex work of education and meeting the needs of all learners. I know firsthand the critical role that educators play in supporting Ontario students. I have also witnessed the challenges that are facing our system, especially the growing need for more teachers. This presents an opportunity to meet this moment by welcoming more passionate people into this profession in a timely manner. This is a step in safeguarding our publicly funded education system. My acceptance to Queen's concurrent education 6 years ago will go down as one of the most significant moments for me. So, to the teacher candidates about to begin this journey, their work will be well worth it. Just remember to bring your most important tool, the heart of a teacher. It is now my pleasure to welcome the Honourable Nolan Quinn, Minister of Colleges, Universities, Research Security, and Excellence to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here at Queen's University. Thank you, Nikki, for that kind introduction, and thank you all for joining us here today. As a proud father of 3 young children and a proud husband of a remarkable teacher, I see firsthand every day the incredible impact Ontario's teachers have on our children. In classrooms across our province, students are receiving the skills they need to make positive contributions to their communities, their future workplace, and our province as a whole. Our government knows that in order for children to lead happy, fulfilling lives, They must have a strong start to their education that inspires a love of learning and equips them with the skills they need to thrive. Because when Ontario's children succeed, Ontario succeeds. Our curious K-12 students of today become dedicated post-secondary students of tomorrow, and eventually vital members of our province's workforce. That is why today I am thrilled to announce that our government is investing $55.8 million to expand teaching seats at our world-class Bachelor of Education programs, including right here at Queen's University. This investment will train 2,600 new teachers for Ontario classrooms by 2027. Through this funding, we have prioritized expanding teacher programs that produce graduates for French, Indigenous, rural, northern, and remote classrooms, as well as condensed programs to get more teachers into classrooms that need them quickly and effectively. As our province continues to grow and prosper, and amid the unprecedented threats from the United States, our government is doing whatever it takes to protect Ontario. And that starts with protecting our children and their future. By ensuring we have a steady pipeline of highly skilled teachers for our classrooms, students in all corners of Ontario will receive the excellent K-12 education they need to achieve great success in their futures. I am confident that our children will become the leaders of tomorrow under the exceptional guidance of Ontario teachers who are supported through this investment. Today's announcement is not only an investment in our classrooms, but an investment in a brighter future for all of Ontario. Thank you. I will now take questions from the media.
We will now be doing questions and media availability. Please state your name and publication, and one question and one follow-up per journalist, please.
Chris Walala from the Kingstonist. Good morning. One of the difficulties that colleges and universities have come up against recently are competing priorities that seem to have come from the federal government and from the provincial government. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the provincial government and the federal government are cooperating now to make sure that their policies are not competing and making things more difficult for colleges and universities and education in general in Ontario?
Thank you, Chris, for that question. We will continue advocating for our colleges and universities across the province and continuing having constructive dialogue with our federal counterparts. But as an Ontario government, we are hyper-focused on labour market needs, whether that's the $750 million we just recently invested into STEM learners, producing another 20,000 STEM graduates on top of the 70,000 we're already producing on an annual basis, or the $75 million for construction seats, this $56 million investment for teachers, as well as other investments, whether it's into the $2 billion that we've given in 14 months, the $1.3 billion from the Post-Secondary Education Sustainability Fund. We are making heightened investments to ensure that our labour market needs, the most crucial labour market needs, are fulfilled moving forward.
Good morning, Minister. Ken Hashizumi from KingstonDaily.ca. Just kind of maybe just get us up to speed about the, with colleges now facing deficits, and most post-secondary institutions overall are facing deficits. What is the government planning to do to kind of help these post-secondary institutions stay afloat in order to, for these students to go and get this type of education?
Thank you for the question, Ken. And we understand some of the unilateral decisions that were made by our federal government have created some challenges across the sector. And as I stated earlier, that's why we've invested over 14 months, $2 billion, $1.3 billion, part of the Post-Secondary Education Sustainability Fund, as well as the $750 million for STEM programming on top of, as I stated, the $75 million for construction seats, as well as this $56 million for teaching seats, as well as about $56 million for nursing seats as well. So we will continue to be focused on our greatest labour market needs to ensure that our post-secondary education system continues to be world-class as we know it and as it will for the future. But we do understand that there is rebalancing going on. There are less students at our post-secondary institutions, so we will continue to have constant dialogue with our post-secondary education system to ensure that it continues to thrive for decades to come, on top of our funding review model that we're going to be taking place this summer to ensure that everything is working properly for the institutions, whether it's the tuition, the per-student grants, and some of the expenses. We really want to understand where there's opportunity to ensure that our post-secondary will continue to be the world-class institutions that we know and we deserve.
That now concludes today's press conference. Thank you.